Hello, everyone. Welcome to the night breakdown. I'm still happy. I'm still riding that wave of emotion. I'm over the moon. 20 years since I last saw my team in the Champions League final. Here we are with a chance and just 90 minutes between a chance for us to make history and make another milestone. I'm floating and nothing can bring me down. The atmosphere leading up to the game was insane. The flares, the red flares around the stadium, the tifo over land and sea, the welcoming of the team bus into the stadium. The stadium was rocking. Shout out to the fans at the Emirates for making the Emirates such a cauldron. Now, to the game itself, I was pleasantly surprised with the lineup. In fact, I half expected, or I fully expected Benny to come back into the starting lineup in place of Miles Lewis Kelly. I expected Hinkapie in place of Calafiori, but I was really surprised. And that lineup showed the approach that Mikel had going into that game. After the game, Mateta talked about how he had ripped up several lineups that he had put up on his iPad. That should show you how close it was for him to change the lineup that just beat Fulham 3-0 from the weekend. All the ball players were in the starting lineup. I'm talking about Miles Lewis Kelly, Ricardo Calafiori at left back, White at full back, Trossard, Saka. It showed that we wanted to go for this game or go for the win from the get-go. And the game started, and shout out to Atletico for riding out that early wave where it seemed like Arsenal wanted to overwhelm them. Just like we did at the Wanda Metropolitana. Atletico were able to ride that wave. For the first 15 minutes, they didn't allow us build out from the back easily. I was talking about ball players, and White had a fantastic game as well. Such an improvement from the game against Fulham, in which his the attacking facet of his game has never been in doubt. His defensive side that's always had Arsenal fans so scared, but it looks like he's coming back to the Benjamin White that we know. Shout out to Trossard as well, carrying on from the Fulham game. And it's been such a topsy-turvy season for him in the sense that only just 2 weeks ago, it looked like he was tired, he was fatigued, and the season was really over for him regarding his contributions to the attack. But he has put on two back-to-back world-class performances. Shout out to Leo Trossard, who I'll always have a soft spot for. Ben White as well, such an improvement from the Fulham game, and you know, he has received so much criticism this season, and to see him rise above all that and still continue to raise his game, shout out. So many talking points from this game. The central defensive partnership, Gabriel was monstrous, Saliba imperious as well. MLS carried on his good form from the Fulham game. He was good before he eventually had to be taken off for Zubimendi. Well rested Zubimendi, who came on, won all of his duels, and showed that he was up for the fight. And oh my God, what an I have arrived performance from Victor Gyökeres. Carrying on from his brace and assist against Fulham, he just went shoulder to shoulder with the Atletico defenders. He was a thorn in their side all game, and he had a contribution, even though he didn't score a goal, even though he had a gilt-edged chance to make it 2-0 and just seal up the game for us. His all-round play and his contribution to the game in all was just not in doubt. Like I said earlier, the first 15 minutes of the game, we didn't really come to the party. We're just slowly feeling our way into the game. Atletico, shout out to them, credit to them. They really showed that they didn't come to be pushed over. It was a proper tight Champions League semi-final game. There weren't really much clear-cut chances from both sides. Both sides defended very well. From the first 15 minutes where, because of the progression of the lineup from the Fulham game, I expected us to try and get an early goal as soon as possible. I realized that it really wasn't going to be so, and it would be a game of margins and a game where maybe just one goal would be enough to take us through. And for our goal, Saliba with a wonderful pass through to Gyökeres, who held the ball up, linked it up, calmed down and played an inch-perfect cross. Trossard controlled. And we all know Leandro Trossard, he likes to have a pop or two. He took a shot at goal, a black speed, and Saka, he was alive in the box, took full advantage and he tapped in home. What a perfect time to get the first goal of the match, just right before halftime. He couldn't have asked for a better time than that. Then in the second half, it was time for our defensive five. Defensive five, I'm talking about the four men in defense and Declan Rice himself to show why they have been paid the big bucks. And they did just that. They were absolute rocks. And there were few chances here and there for Atletico. I'm talking about the chance that Diego Simeone had from a header that Saliba miscued. I really don't know how he was able to put in a challenge and not concede a penalty, in the sense that you were stumbling on your feet, you were trying to get back, and you were still able to put Simeone off of being able to score an easy tap in after rounding the goalkeeper. Insane defending from Gabriel, who was just imperious and monstrous throughout. And then towards the 60th minute mark, we made our substitutions. Eze came on for Odegaard, Madueke came on from Saka, who is managing an Achilles injury, and we just have to manage his minutes. Pay came on for Calafuri. And you would have thought that because of the substitutions, Arsenal were going to settle into a low block and really not make any inroads, but that wasn't the case. It just seemed like those substitutions increased our front-footed pressing, and we just for about 10 minutes, Atletico couldn't even come close to our box. We just made it difficult for them with the way we prayed and pressed them. Gyökeres was so important to the win we got yesterday. And, there are many ways to skin a cat, either with a low block or with a front-footed person. And I was pleasantly surprised again by Atleta's tactical decision or tactical nose to resort to front pressing rather than just retreating into our shell and let's say Atletico just pepper the defenses chance after chance. We also had a chance to make it 2-0. One of the substitutes, Nkapie, with a delicious early cross, inviting cross for Gyökeres, who should have made it 2-0, but it wasn't to be. And so from that point, it was just about game management. The dark arts came into play. I think for the 5 minutes of added time, the ball was only in play for about 1 minute, 50 seconds. Substitutes and the players who were supposed to be warming up by the sidelines just contrived to make sure that we saw out the results. And Simeone, who you would have thought would have had a problem with that, who is even equally well versed in the dark arts, didn't even talk about all of that, the gamemanship, the dark arts, just gave congratulations to Arsenal and praised his players. Good one, Simeone, even though we saw you scrapping with Andrea Betta, your former colleague, on the sideline. Two madmen. Thank you, Mikel Arteta. You've absolutely changed my life. From top four being the goal to, those were the lean Emirates years, to not being able to make top four, to being eighth, to missing out on Champions League qualification, to a surprise title chase, to being second. All these are part of the journey, and I'm just so happy and I'm grateful to be privileged to live this journey as a football fan and as a gunner. But yeah, we're here now on the cusp of two major trophies. So glad to be part of the process. And I'm just enjoying the ride, excited, happy, looking forward to the boys taking advantage of this momentum and just seeing the season out. Big shout outs once again to Victor Gyökeres. It just seems like when everybody else in the team is getting fatigued and tired, it just seems like he's getting fitter and fitter. His game, his link-up play, and being able to manage shoulder contact and able to retain the ball and make smart decisions with the ball has just improved tenfold over the past couple of weeks. I've been a big critic of him, and I also know when a player is trying his best. Shout out to Victor Gyökeres. I'll be glad to see you lead the line for us continuing next season. Also, Bukayo Saka, star boy, now star man, franchise player, face of the Arsenal, hail and himself. Thank you so much. So many years ago, you said about how Arsenal players or Arsenal fans deserve better. You've proved that. You're an absolute legend in my books. Thank you so much for carrying this club on your back. It was only fitting that a Haaland product, who is captain of the night, scored the goal that sent us through to our first Champions League final in 2 decades. So yeah, like I said earlier, it's a privilege to feel these emotions. It's a privilege to be able to support my darling club with all the strength and love in my heart. Stayed faithful through all these years. So it's only right that Gunners around the world enjoy this moment. Life, as with football itself, is a cycle. So enjoy this moment. Be glad that you support this football club. I would put myself out on a limb and say that I genuinely see a future where we see out the Premier League and we win it, and we ride that momentum, we ride those good vibes, and it just takes the pressure off of the boys. And then we go to the Champions League final, knowing that we have the Premier League title in the bag, and we play with zero pressure, and then we bring the big ears home. Come on, you Gunners. What an unbelievable season it has been in general, being able to be in the latter stages of almost all of the competitions we've been in, an unbeaten Champions League season, only 6 goals completed, and 90 minutes between Arsenal and achieving glory. I am allowed to dream, am I not?